So Silvira, when she emerges on deck with the others, she steps she runs to the edge of the ship as she sees the portal kind of ripping open in the center of the river, and Miss Mavathor and Dolos, the two of you are nearest by. You kind of hear her voice trembling. She kind of, almost like she's speaking to herself. You hear her say, "Oh, I can't believe it." And then she kind of like looks back at the rest of you and she says, "Demons! Demons are coming!" And she says, "I'll try to close the portal." And then you see the bird kind of take out, come just like zooming towards the ship. You hear the captain kind of shout some orders, and the two crewmates who are sort of just like resting on the stern, back of stern, I think. Who were not expecting to have to use their weapons. He kind of shouts some orders at them. You hear them turn their bows around, and the big
ballista?
Yeah, the big ballistas that they have on the back of the ship. And the captain sort of begins to kind of like attempt to turn the ship sideways so it's no longer just going directly towards the port. They turn it, they both try and fire their... As captain turns the ship, they both try and fire their ballistas at the demon speeding towards you all. Both of their big 8-foot-long arrows just kind of go way wide as the captain's trying to turn the ship from just nose diving directly into the dark portal before you. That's now probably 150 feet ahead. Sylvie, you're up.
Okay, guess Sylvie will make her way up here. Then she's gonna cast Dissonant Whispers.
Demon?
Yeah.
Roll a 16 for their save.
And then, Sylvie's gonna give, Bardic Inspiration to our captain over here. And that'll be your turn.
As it starts to sort of grow quicker as the sun's setting and the sky is kind of darkened from portal's emergence, it kind of expedites the process of the sunset, and it sort of grows dark, especially around the exterior of the ship. And you little trembling voice shout out as it grows darker and the demon's coming towards the ship. Can everyone see? And she casts dancing lights, and 3 little orbs of light kind of shoot out of her trunk and kind of fall in 30-foot intervals along the ship, kind of bringing a golden glow to the deck.
Oh, she's so cute.
Draws a short sword from his sheath off his back, and he kind of like kisses his holy symbol, the Morning Lord, that hangs around his neck, and casts Bless on you, Mavathor, you, Dolos, and Silvira. He sort of places himself beside Silvira to try and protect her as she attempts to close the portal. You all see Ulder draw his sword from his side as well, and begins to head towards the captain of the ship. Then you guys hear some more screams on deck. The strange lights that have appeared in the sky and darkened your surroundings, as well as the portal, are sort of casting these moving shadows as the sea beneath the ship is moving in all of these unnatural directions, kind of taking the ship to and fro with it. Hard to sort of remain stable as you're all sort of shifting the waves that have now emerged on what was the sort of gentle river that was flowing down towards Elturel. As everything is being tousled around, you can just see these shadows being cast off of, the masts of the ship. And, why don't y'all make some perception checks for me?
Could I do disadvantage since I don't have dark vision, or just regular?
No, the whole deck of the ship is illuminated in a golden glow now from Lulu.
Okay.
And it's helping to contribute to like the severity of the shadows.
Okay. Gotcha.
Lily and Rayleigh, both of you notice that some of these ship is kind of swaying on the waters, and the shadows are moving. The two of you notice that a few of the shadows aren't quite moving the way they should be in the lights. In the glow and the shift, there are a number of shadows that are kind of remaining stationary as everything shifts around on the deck of the ship. And beside you, Cradley, one of those shadows, there's like a shadow that's being cast up the mast, and out of that shadow, a demon appears kind of out of it just beside you. There's this demonic figure suddenly that sort of just like operates out of the shadows that are shifting around the deck of the ship. And this demonic face, these big black wings kind of appears beside you. The lower half of their body kind of like disappears into the golden glow being cast off of Hulu's orbs. And this little shadow demon appears inside you and tries to strike you.
Oh god. Oh fuck.
Reaches out its claws. As its claws kind of like pass through you, you feel this like psychic pain, and you kind of, there's like a moment of all those intense whispers sort of like coalescing in your mind all at one time, and just kind of like making it hard for you to hear or see anything for like a brief flash, and you take 12 psychic damage. Elturel.
Okay. Dylan's just freaking out by all this. It's like, I think first notices the big flying creature coming towards them. So he will move over to form and will cast command on this flying creature as he tells it to stop.
Save? It's a 15 for its wisdom save.
That does not pass. I have a 16.
As it's flapping its wings, as you cast the command on it, you see the distance between the creature and the ship is closing fast, and as you attempt to cast a spell on it, its wings like go out to their full expanse. You see all of the dark feathers kind of like absorb the light of Lulu's orbs and into just like its menacing black wings, and you see its like pointed beak kind of turned down you, and its big beady black eyes kind of focused down on where you're standing on the deck.
Oh no. And I will give a bardic inspiration to Born. Sorry.
Haley, you're up.
To clarify, this shadow demon thing in front of me, is it kind of floating at
It's
deck level, or is
deck
it?
level, at deck level, yeah.
Okay. Then Krayley will go ahead and draw Flame Tongue and use the command word. Trogo? To add the ability here. Let me just pull it back up. So when I speak that command word, it brings bright light in a 40-foot radius, and then dim light for an additional 40. And that'll deal extra fire damage when I attack. that. And then I will attack that shadow demon twice. Let me bring that up here. Those are the attacks.
Draw forth your flame tongue weapon. Being the command word, the flames kind of flicker to life along the blade, illuminating even more the deck of the ship. Putting it down at the demon. Your first attack hits. The shadows kind of like flicker, and you just swipe right through him with your second one. You don't get the impression that you get the impression that maybe the fire is only officially effective. Mavathor. Is that your turn, Crayley?
Yes, yep.
Alright. Mavathor will move a little bit over. And he will cast Sanctuary on Silvira. That was his bonus action, and as his action, he's going to cast Sacred Flame on the Varrock. DC 15 dex save.
See, as the bird continues flying towards the ship, a few of his feathers burst into little flames as it screeches in pain. Then you kind of see them instantly kind of grow back in. They take a deep hit.
Nice. That'll be the end of his turn.
The bird flies, kind of dips down towards Silvira, and then your bubble appears around her, and its claws like hit the edge of the bubble, and like little sparks go flying off it, and then it kind of like skips over the top of her and comes down over the top of you, Delos. Kind of hovers maybe 10 feet. 10 feet above your head, and screeches, and out of its mouth, this cloud of toxic spores, this dark green cloud kind of just sprays down over you and expands out to kind of cover over you, Mavathor, and Born as well. I need the two of you to make Constitution saving throws.
Oh no.
DC 14. One for Lightheart. Nice job. The spores expand out around the three of you. You all kind of take a sharp breath as the demon's kind of spilling out this vaporous breath around all of you. See if I can to represent that little clouded area. So this dense cloud of spores kind of hangs there in the air. The You hear more screams from below deck. It's actually just like one final piercing human howl. It continues to kind of shift in the waters as the captain is trying to turn it still. Another one of these shadow demons appears on the deck. Sort of feel this cold presence behind you, Sylvie. What was the perception check you rolled earlier? 18.
Yeah, Sylvie's also wearing the cloak of displacement. I don't know if I told you that or not.
So that makes stuff hit you with disadvantage.
Yeah, and then it stops it stops if I take damage, and then it restarts at my next turn.
You feel this cold chill down your spine, and you kind of turn to see from the side this shadowy figure beside you. Its claws kind of like pass through you, and you feel this cold chill, but you don't take any damage. And your displacement is still in effect. The two deckhands that are up by the anchor wheel, they go. One of them, there's a couple of like coils of rope on the deck up there, and one of them sort of lifts the coil and ties it in a quick knot, and then the other one, kind of a thicker, heavier rope, and the other guard, they kind of heave it out together a bit off the coil, and then the other one tries to hurl it over the rock's head to try and kind of anchor it down, maybe. So I'm just gonna make like an improvised attack for these two guys. But I did mention that they were efficient sailors, so we'll give them a +6. So you see this large coil land around the Vrock's neck, and they instantly just pull it tight so it kind of wraps around their throat. Then you see them begin to try and kind of like wrap the rope off around the anchor wheel to try and hold the demon from flying away. So now it's kind of anchored in this 15-foot radius around those of you up on the front of the deck. Elvira, you see inside of the bubble, she's kind of got her hands in the air, the tips of her fingers and her thumbs are kind of touching, and you can't hear her, but she's sort of chanting as the ship is continuing to kind of be pulled towards the portal, as the ship's just moving and tossing in the waters. Be making some Arcana checks for her throughout the combat, I suppose. She attempts to close the portal. You feel briefly like the water's sort of still a bit, and in one hard turn of the wheel, the captain manages to get the ship totally sideways and slows it moving towards the portal. At the top of the round, there is this. You all can kind of see the portal is kind of hard to ignore, and there's just this shifting movement in the darkness of it, and then you guys hear another screech as another rock spits itself out. No, you know what? Not yet, because Sylvira succeeded on her Arcana check, so nothing can emerge. The two scouts are loading new arrows into the ballistas, and Sylvie, you're up.
She's gonna pull out her daggers. She's gonna use her +1 dagger in her dominant hand, and then Fang in her offhand.
Strike with Fang. You turn to face the demon. Now this shifting shadow demon is in front of you, and they tried to like claw its arms, kind of almost went fully translucent as they kind of passed through you, and you felt this cold chill. And when you bring your daggers out, like you swipe with your first one, and it just kind of slashes through. And then when you bring Fang around, you stick it into it, and you can kind of like feel it take hold. And it's like you pull on Fang, and it's almost like feels like you're tearing through kind of cloth with your dagger as you rip through the demon a bit, doing some damage. See Lulu kind of fluttering around the deck, kind of unsure of herself. You hear her kind of saying, "Gotta be strong, gotta be strong," and she kind of flies up, decides to eventually fly up, seeing you kind of there with the demon. She flies up, and he kind of like tries to. Her little tusk, she like tries to tusk into the demon on the other side of you there, Sylvie. Like right beside you. The tusk like poke right into its shadowy flesh, and sparkles like shoot out of her wings as she kind of strikes it. She's like, "Gotta be strong!" and Captain Vorn will move. Oh, actually, Captain Lightheart, you see him reach into one of his possibly large pockets, and he pulls out a vial of clear liquid, which he uncorks, and he begins to like move through the area of the spores, sprinkling water from the vial onto the deck of the ship, and you begin to see the cloud like slowly disperse and fade away. There does another dash. Making its way kind of in between you and Lulu Sully with the shadow demon you're engaged with. Abthor and Dolos, what are your passive perceptions?
17.
11.
Anyone hit you, Mavathor?
No.
Feel a cold presence appear on the deck of the ship. You hear Gargoth's voice in your head, "Behind you, Mavathor," and just in time, you kind of turn. You feel like a force hit your shield as one of the shadow demons appears on deck beside you. And you said 11 Dolos.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, this is the wrong demon. Never mind. I'll come for you later. Rayleigh, the shadow demon, sort of materializes with all its force momentarily. Its kind of transparent, shifting form kind of goes full, kind of like becomes fully opaque, and he brings both of his claws down on you. You take 24 psychic damage. Because I rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Dolos, you're up.
Okay. Now, just to be sure, to drink a potion, that is a bonus action. Right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, Delos is gonna drink one of the mystery potions that they got.
Roll a d20 for me, please.
Okay. Because he needs some help.
These random magical potion effects are brought to you by ChatGPT. Okay, Delos. You drink this potion, and this flow of magical energy kind of like pulses through your body. And you, being familiar with transformation, sort of know this feeling, and you begin to feel like you have the ability momentarily to polymorph into an inanimate object of your choice for a brief period
Okay.
of
So, unused.
So,
And that Delos is like, well, shit. Gonna take out his rapier and come over to this shadow demon and attempt to attack him. Like,
some potion effects good, some maybe useless.
no.
Becomes the rapier.
You could. You go for the
shadow demon.
demon. Yeah, 19 is a hit.
Okay, then I am gonna apply the psychic blade damage on there as well.
15 total damage. Make a insight check for me there, Delos.
Okay.
You feel the potion's magical energies rush through you, and you resist the temptation to transform into like a soup ladle. You draw your rapier and strike the demon, and you get the impression that it takes all of the damage. It doesn't seem to be resistant or immune to your psychic powers.
Lovely.
Rayleigh, you're up.
Could Krayley, as a bonus action, touch the Raven pen to kind of send a message to everybody to kind of...
For sure, absolutely.
Okay. So as a bonus action, Krayley will touch the Raven pen and say something along the lines of, fire does not seem to work. I'll say that. And then as my main action, I will go ahead and swing twice again on the
As you
demon in front of me.
struck through the demon with your last series of attacks, the darkness of the demon as you pass through it kind of, it's almost like its form tried to like wrap around the flames of the blade as it passed through it, and you think it's not like immune to the fire, but it is resistant.
And as my action, I will do 2 attacks. Ooh, not a critical failure.
The first swing of your blade passes through the demon. You swing through the second time. The demon sort of like uses all of its force to kind of fully press into the flames of your blade, which it extinguishes for 1 round.
Okay. Cool.
So next round, at the end of your turn,
No
you can
flame.
reignite the flame tongue.
Okay, cool. That'll be my turn.
So is the rock currently prone, or is it just anchored onto the
It
surface
is,
of?
not restrained, but grappled, basically.
Okay.
It has currently like a 15-foot up or down movement, essentially, where it is.
Gotcha. All right. He'll cast. Just mark that off. He'll cast spiritual weapon next to him, and then swing with the spiritual weapon. At the rock. Does a 18 hit?
Yes.
Or 8 force damage.
You want it like there?
Yeah, that works. And then he will cast Sacred Flame on this shadow demon down here.
Cloud of flame that kind of erupts beneath the demon. Radiant damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can make an insight check. See, like, it momentarily, like, almost fully diminishes the shadow of this creature. It takes 20 radiant damage
Ooh.
from your radiant flame. How much was the damage? 8 force damage on the rock?
Yes.
Just want to make sure that I don't forget to apply.
Mm-hmm. If you'll allow, he'll touch the pin and say to all the clerics, use radiant damage. I know, for all however many clerics there are here. Oh, wait.
The rock kind of comes down a little bit closer to your level, Mabithor, and it tries to peck down at you with its. You know what? It's gonna do something else. Now, kind of being bound by the rope, sort of restricted. Its claws kind of scrape against the deck of the ship as it lands, and it lets out this piercing screech. I need Dolos, Mabathor, both of you to make Constitution saving throws. Your bubble, Mabathor, that's only for attack rolls against, right? A saving throw would.
Yeah, it's only for attack rolls.
Okay. Then Silvira and Captain Bourne will both be making these as well.
Nice.
So, you see, like, just ever so slightly, like, the connection between Silvira's fingers as she's trying to close the abyssal portal that's appeared. Her fingers kind of break apart a bit, and her chanting stops as she becomes stunned in place. Captain Bourne is fine, but Dolos, you are also currently stunned. You are stunned until the end of the Vrock's next turn.
Do whatever you want to me now.
Shadows around the ship. Oh, you're. Well, the bless wouldn't help you on that one, Dolus.
I didn't.
What's your passive perception, Crayley?
Let me bring that up here real quick and off the top of my head. So, 13, 17.
Wow.
On the other side
Very
of
high
you,
perception.
just as kind of like the flames of Flame Tongue are being suppressed, another one of these shadowy creatures kind of pops out of the ether beside you. But you notice just in time, and they kind of just swipe right over your head. Keen senses avoid their
Look
attack.
at that.
Them tries to swipe at you, Sylvie. Over there with Lulu and Older, but they miss. The guards, the two deckhands that have got the rope around the Vrock's neck, they go to another coil of rope, and together they get a knot tied, and they go to try and kind of get it. They get another rope around it. The Vrock will be restrained. So they're going to try and get a second rope around the Vrock. A 6, I think, is what I rolled for them. But the rope kind of like hits one of the arms of the anchor and kind of gets obstructed. So they start to like pull it back towards them. Silvira is stunned and is unable to continue her casting to attempt to close the portal. So at the top of the round, there is a flicker and a screech, and another one of these rocks appears from the abyssal portal. And comes hurtling towards the ship. two men on the back of the ballista have got their cannons reloaded, and they both fire. One of their ballistas, arrow just kind of arcs perfectly, hitting the second Brock that has emerged from the portal. Kind of just like pierces right through the chest plate of this runny bird-like demon. Just kind of the force of the bolt just shoots all the way through it, and there's leaving just like a hole in the center of his body. Because those ship's weapons are not magical, it only takes half that damage. Lulu continue her assault with her little tusks. Kind of like flies right through the demon to the other side, and goes and tries to pluck at it again. Sylvie, you're up.
I'm gonna throw a healing word at Krayley. I don't know why Sneak's on there. You get 6 points.
Thank you.
Much
appreciated.
And then, of course. And then, she's gonna take her +1 dagger and try and stab the shadow again. And I do get sneak attack, right?
Yes, Lightheart and
Oh.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Lulu.
Okay.
Yeah, because you used your spell, so it will be offhand attack.
Yeah.
Sky. The kind of dagger just passes through the shifting form of the shadow demon. Captain Bourne, after dispersing the cloud, he takes his kind of moves in now finally towards the he will sword in both his hands. Strike at the demon. He kind of just does a quick swipe across its chest. A bit of radiant energy charges through his blade, and then he makes a second strike. Demon on his second blow kind of catches Bourne's wrist and smacks it against the mast of the ship, and Bourne's blade goes tumbling onto the deck. Come on, Bourne. Older over there. Now, having dashed across the ship for the last 2 rounds, is finally able to the fray with you and Lulu over there, Sylvie. So he takes 2 swipes with his longsword. The first one kind of passes through, and then his second strike, you see kind of just like, much like your first dagger strike, kind of like stops and slows, and there's like a tearing sound as it passes through the creature. Older, natural 20s. He does 14 slashing. 14 magical slashing damage. Dolus, you are stunned, unfortunately, and a Shadow Demon is going to try and tear you into little pieces, bring you into the abyss. Does 18 hit you?
Yeah, it does.
Take a total of 24 psychic damage.
Okay.
Second rock lands on the deck of the ship between Born and Silvira. If it attacks Silvira, it has to make a wisdom save, right? Or strike something else.
Yep.
What is it, DC 14?
15.
DC 15? So it goes and tries to grab onto Silvira and then just kind of turns towards its claws kind of like spark against your bubble, and then it turns and goes for Lightheart instead, and goes for a beak and a talon. You see the bird kind of just clomp onto Vorn's shoulder and tear like a piece of his flesh right off his body, and Vorn takes some damage. A lot of natural NPC 20s going on. Then lashes through Vorn as well with his claws for another 15. Vorn takes 9 total damage. One of the two shadow demons over there by you, Rayleigh, will try and swipe at you. It misses. Close, you remain stunned until the end of the Brock's upcoming turn.
Alright, Mavthor is going to reach into the magic of the amulet he got and use its ability to impose disadvantage on the next spell he casts. And he's going to cast Slow on the Vrox and the Shadow Demon. So they need to make DC 15 wisdom saves at disadvantage. Alright.
All three of them?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're demons, so.
Disadvantage. Okay, first rock rolls a 15, or disadvantage, rolls a 7. Second rock rolls a natural 20 and a dirty 20. And the Shadow Demon rolls a 16 and a 20.
Okay, so one of the rocks is slowed. And then he'll use bonus action to swipe with his spiritual weapon. $19 to hit.
15 does hit.
Okay. Or 11 force damage.
I'm just making sure that I slowed rock properly. Is that your turn?
Yep, that's it.
Rayleigh.
Kraylin,
I believe you can turn your sword back on.
for a bonus action, right? Okay. So first, Krayley in a panic will look around and see Sylvie over there who had just killed him, and go ahead and use the Thunderstep belt to. So I tried to make a custom DC on this, but I could not get
DC
that to
13,
work.
right?
Yep, so it's just a DC 13.
DC 13 dex for both of them.
Yes. Yes. No, Constitution. Constitution.
Oh,
Sorry.
Constitution. Okay.
Yep.
It's
Do that. So if they succeed, half damage. If they don't, full damage. And then I will land next to Sylvie. And then I will use my bonus action to reignite Flame Tongue by pronouncing Tralgo, by pointing it in the air and igniting it with flame.
you can make an insight check as well.
Okay. Find that here.
The first time you've used this item, and it's not quite as violent as the teleportation, but there's like a you leave a little impact, like crack on the ship floor as you zoom off. It's almost like you feel this like rush through your whole body as you zip to another part of the ship and appear right beside your companion. You're unable to tell whether or not the shadow demons are particularly affected or not by the thunder from your belt.
And I don't feel queasy.
You don't feel queasy. No, you probably feel a bit of a static, like your fur is probably kind of like standing up a little bit, like static electricity, you know, after the teleportation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, it's my turn.
The shadow demon up by you, Sylvie, tries to make an attack against you, and kind of in the chaos of the explosion and the ship kind of shifting around and everything, the shadow demon's like flickers and just swipes right past you. The one of the two that you just escaped from over there, Krayley, they're going to try and find a shadow to hide in. Fail miserably. They make their way towards you. Original Brock tries to make a couple attacks against you, Mabithor. It'll try and beat you. It's sharp. It's like pings against your shield as it tries to peck at you. Then it swipes. Its kind of long, elongated claws come like underneath the protection of your guard, and they slash against you for 12 slashing damage. 23 hits you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
23 is what they did. 12 slashing damage. Two deckhands draw their rope back in and try and throw it over the first demon, attempting to fully restrain it. Come on, guys. Again, just the shifting of the ship, they let it go at the wrong time. and it falls just short. And then you guys see Silvira pinch her fingers back together and return to her arcane chanting. She will make a on a check. Much like the first time, the kind of goes calm ever so briefly. You hear her shout. Sound goes through your sanctuary, doesn't it, Mamathor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You all hear her shouting. Tell the captain to turn the ship! Tell the captain to turn the ship and raise the sail! And, you hear the deckhands shout and back towards the captain, and the captain grabs the wheel and tries to turn the nose of the ship. And so the ballista are facing the portal and kind of turn the ship back towards the town, the city you came from. The two scouts kind of shift their ballistas down, and well, no, they both fired, so they're currently reloading this round. Their long spears into the ballistas. Lulu, he moves her two of her dancing lights kind of down now that the more of these shadow demons are kind of converging around you, and the golden light from her little orbs get closer and grows brighter, and kind of around you in a radius, she sort of eliminates all of the shadows, so the demons have nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sylvie, you're up.
Sylvie's gonna try and do her dual wielding attacks again.
14 is a hit.
Awesome.
11 is a miss. So your first dagger teared through the demon. 7 ring thing out around, and your hand just passes through as the light flickers, or as the orbs are kind of coming in. Captain Bourne, it's his object interaction to pick up his sword off the deck of the ship. Load creature has -2 AC now. So Bourne turns with his blade back in his hand and makes 2 attacks against the slowed Brock at the bow of the ship. God, Bourne. Jesus. Incredible damage. His first hit. First strike hits. Another bit of energy flows through his blade as he strikes, and kind of the 2 Brocks there beating their wings, like one of their big wings just kind of like knocks Bourne as he's coming, and it just hits his sword out of his hand again. And you hear it just, like, clatters to the deck, slides a little bit as like the water shifts the ship. Then Older makes a couple of attacks over there with you guys. Striking that demon there that you're all grouped around. Total of 20 damage. Dolos, you're no longer done. Shadow demon beside you still tries to attack you.
Okay.
Take 9 psychic damage as its claws reach into your corporeal form. Corporeal is invisible or visible? I might have used that word wrong.
Visible.
I think corporeal.
Maybe I should have said your handsome form. The
Yes.
other, the Blood Rock tries to grapple Elvira. Is Sanctuary concentration or just last 10 rounds?
It just last 10 rounds.
Okay. So they will make a wisdom save, DC 15. Claws kind of turn towards Vorn and swipe again.
The slowed one can only attack once per turn.
Another 19 damage to Vorn. Hide. These other 2 shadow demons just kind of try and converge on the back half of the ship with you, Krayley, and Sylvie. And Dolos, you're up.
Okay. First off, which one of these Voraks is slowed?
One
Left
at
to
the
right.
very bow of the ship, yeah.
Okay. Now here's my idea, and you can tell me if I can do it or not. Because I am wearing the Cape of Mountback or whatever.
Yeah.
From what I know, from what I researched, it said it allows me to cast Dimension Door as an action. Is that correct?
So,
Okay. Now, here's my idea. It says you can take a willing creature with you. Is it possible if I spend both my action and my bonus action to try and take an unwilling creature with me? Also, it,
It also specifies in the spell that the creature has to be your size or smaller.
oh, it does. Oh,
you could attempt to take a grappled creature with you.
grappled creature. Okay. And to grapple something is an action.
Yes.
Okay.
So you could grapple something your size or smaller, and if they don't break out of your grapple by your next turn, then you could attempt what you would like to do.
Okay. I think that'll take too much time because I'm so low health. So instead, Jolos is going to drink a healing potion.
Okay.
A greater potion of healing.
4 plus 4, I think.
And 44.
Have you guys acquired any superiors? You heal for 11, you drink your potion and heal for 11 Dolos with your bonus action.
1, 2, 4. And then as my action, just going to attack this shadow monster with my rapier.
These for you over here, Krayley, now that they're getting closer.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Pen is a miss, Delos. Your rapier
Okay.
wipes through demon.
A shot.
Okay. Mevthor will move 5 feet this way. And then he will. He's getting tired of the Shadow Demon, so he's going to cast Guiding Bolt on it.
15 hits.
For 18 radiant damage.
Which amounts to 36 radiant damage. In a bolt of holy energy, it kind of like your guiding bolt strikes out across the deck of the ship and goes into like the center mass of the demon, and then like all these little points of light begin to spill out from inside of the creature, and it kind of explodes in a little kind of flare of red energy. Disappears. You can hear like from the portal like the swirling screams of the abyss as you dismantle demons.
Cool. And then as his bonus action, he'll use his spiritual weapon against the rock.
Oh yeah. 20's a hit.
For 10 force damage.
Haley, you're up.
Okay, so on Krayley's turn, Krayley's going to make 2 swipes at number 3. I do like to imagine Krayley's flame that's been produced has a little bit of a gray tinge to it for some flavor. 2 attacks.
Both of those hit as the gray flames kind of flicker back up around your sword. You swing it a couple of times. Your first strike goes through the shadow demon, and the flame of the blade kind of presses in, and then you just kind of you're still getting used to swordplay, and kind of at the end of the arc, instead of bringing your arms back around to swing again, you just bring your blade back up through the shadow demon, and as it kind of slices back up, you see the shadow just be split in two. The flames expand and burn the demon away, and there's more screams from the portal that's still pulling the ship towards it, as you also dismantle the shadow demon.
Nice.
Forgot to add this a while back.
Asleep.
Finally, after a couple of the demons are dispatched, there's a little squawk from the mast, and you guys can kind of see perched with its little claws at the edge of its mast, at the edge of its perch at the top of the mast of the ship. It's standing there with its long, little short bow drawn, and it starts firing arrows down at the two demons that are coming closer to you. both of the arrows just kind of like plank into the wood deck of the ship, like right between the two demons that are slowly wafting towards you. Then one kind of like appears, unable to hide as Lulu's golden orbs are just generating the life and light around the two of you. Demon has nowhere to hide, so it just kind of hovers up and tries to rake its shadowy claws through you. There, Krayley. I don't know. Oh wait, it's right in front of me. So it kind of comes up the steps of the ship and kind of tries to like grab out. You just feel like a cold chill as the demon's arms pass through you. I think the original rock that appeared, it just makes a talon attack at the rope, slashing the thick rope off its neck. For it. After it slashes the rope, it tries to strike you with its beak, Mavathor. There's another ringing as it hits its beak against your shield. It will fly 30 feet in the air, provoking opportunity attacks from you, Matathor, and from Captain Lightheart, who currently has his sword on the deck of the ship.
Yeah, he'll swing with his fancy mace.
Try to swing with your fancy mace. Slowed one, so... Oh, 15 is a hit. Yeah, 15's good.
Yep. Or...
But you still do 11 damage to it as it takes to the air. Two deckhands pull their rope back. Now that the first rock has flown up, they turn their attention towards the slowed one, and will try and anchor it, at least the first rope. Now that the creature is slowed, maybe it'll be a little bit easier. They have to lasso the demon, which they do. They anchor the demon. They wrap the rope around the anchor wheel and restrict its movement, causing it to be unable to fly more than 15 feet up in the air. And you see them going for the rope that was slashed to attempt to tie another loop knot into it on their next turn. Elvira, she's still sort of chanting. She briefly takes a moment to shout out, "Faster, Captain!" And then she will make an Arcana check. It's like a violent heave, and the waters shift in all directions, and the ship is like, with a great amount of force, is unnaturally pulled towards the portal 30 feet through the water, like there's like a big wave of water that washes up over the deck of the ship as it's kind of twisted sideways, and it gets pulled towards the portal. I need you to all make strength saving throws.
Oh,
DC 15,
Oh, boy.
or be knocked prone by the wave that gets pushed up from the river over the deck as the ship kind of violently gets pulled towards the portal. So Delos, you get knocked prone. You get washed into the banister of the side of the ship. You hit your head and take 5 bludgeoning damage. Malachor, you just get knocked prone. You don't take any damage, but you kind of like get knocked against the anchor wheel and kind of like get pushed down by the water coming up over the edge and crashing down on the deck. The water like starts to disperse and fall through the grate in the center of the ship and out the sides of the railings. And now, as the 2 scouts have their weapons loaded again, take the opportunity with a couple of you over there prone to make attacks at one of the rocks that are. Actually, they turn up towards the one in the air, and they let their large spears go out of the ballistas. Ooh, the first one is a natural 20, so +4 last time. So the damage there, double their damage dice. So the one that flies 15 feet up in the air, or 30 feet up, they take 17 damage as one of the large spears just makes a hole through one of its wings that's flapping. It just like tears the wing almost totally in two as it rips through the Vrock. The second fires. Still striking the creature, but just for the normal amount of damage. Still pretty good, even though it's halved. Or 12. That rock that's 30 feet in the air is more than bloody. You see Lulu. How bad are you guys hurt? Oh, you guys are doing too bad over there. You see Lulu kind of like float around. She flies around to the side of the demon coming up, and she makes an attack with her tusks. See, like, points of her tusks like light up as she strikes, and she'll do a little radiant damage with that attack. Double. So say, "Enough of you! Get away from my friends!" And her kind of little dancing light orbs are like growing brighter and brighter. Sylvie, you're up.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going at him with my dagger.
First attack misses, but with Fang you strike 6, 7, 8. Try to lose damage. And that creature is also bloodied now. Warren's having a tough day. He goes and picks up his sword. Oh, you know what? Where? gonna be a 50-50. If I roll below a 10 here, Vorn's sword is sinking to the bottom of the river.
Yes.
Faithful man. He'll look up at the rock that is. You know what? No, that one's in pretty bad shape. He'll reach out his hand and touch the rock that's still on the deck, and he will cast Hold Person.
But it's not a humanoid.
It's not a humanoid.
I had the same idea, believe me.
Wait, Old Monster is a 3rd level spell, huh?
I think Old Monster is like a 5th level spell.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty
You don't
high.
have that
It's
one.
higher level.
Yeah, it's 5th level.
Will hold on to his. Grab onto his amulet of Lathander, and he will close his eyes, and a little pulse of radiant energy kind of like comes off of Vorn's skin, Manthor, have you taken any damage?
No.
That's 5. So you heal for 15 damage to us.
Oh, thank you.
Vorn does as well. Boulder makes he closes in and makes 2 attacks with his sword over on the other end of the ship. First slash tearing through the Shadow Demon. His second one just passing harmlessly past, and the rock on the deck without a blood-curdling screech. I need Dolos Mavathor to make Constitution saving throws, DC 14.
Oh.
And I still have Bless, so I pass.
Oh yeah, roll that bless. Dolos, you are paralyzed until the end of the rock's next turn. I gotta roll for
Okay.
Lightheart here and Silvira. Con?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't suppose Warren has the aura of protection on him, does he?
Oh, you know what? How close are you? Thank you for reminding me. Okay, would you roll a 3? Currently, its aura of protection will not assist you, Phyllis, even with the bless.
Okay. It's all
Unfortunately,
good.
Silvira rolled a 4. She is paralyzed as well until the end of the rock's next turn. And
Mhm.
her attempt at sealing the abyssal portal is delayed a round as well. But you are within 10 feet of Vorn. You have to make a saving throw. You need a +5. you for the reminder there.
Hmm.
The Shadow Demon finally makes his way up. He makes an attack against you. Floats up behind you. That is being illuminated in Lulu's light. His actions are very easy for you to telegraph. Sylvie, you easily dodge out of the way of his demonic claws. And Dolos, are paralyzed. Sorry, Navathor.
All right. Avatar will hold out his mace for Vorn to take.
Vorn nods at you as he takes the weapon. He says, "Thank you, cousin."
Hmm. And I'll squeeze past him here and cast Lesser Restoration on Silvira to cleanse her paralysis.
Her fingers kind of like reconnect. She lets out her breath, and as she does, you hear her say, "Thank you, Navathor. I'm getting close." You could move your spiritual weapon, or you can attack the one that's on the ground still.
Yeah, he'll do that. Let's see here.
He hits that one.
Okay. For 7 force damage.
Crazy.
Krayley will go ahead and use 2 attacks with Flame Tongue on number 1.
Ooh.
Her blade rips the first Shadow Demon in half. There's a host of demonic screams from the portal as it's continuing to be pulled closer, the ship to it, as you eviscerate one of the Shadow Demons, sending it back to its realm. Blade, you can bring your blade around for your second attack onto the other demon if you like.
Yeah, I could Rabbit Hop
Yep.
for a bonus action.
Yep.
Oh,
You
provoking.
spring over Ulder there. He kind of ducks as you spring over the top of him, and you land back on the deck for 22 total damage. Let's have 16 total. The other Shadow Demon.
That's good. That'll be it.
Who fires 2 shots from his perch. One of them, first one, kind of as you're swinging your blade, like that arrow comes through and like catches a bit of the flame off the end of your flame tongue and sort of like bursts as it strikes the demon. Kanku rolls a natural 20. The second shot, there's another big shift on the ship in the water, and the Kanku loses balance and like is now hanging off the mast.
Oh no.
Second attack rolled a natural 1. Rock in the air, kind of flaps its way down, hovering just above Delos is paralyzed. It'll try and beat you, Delos. If you're paralyzed, it rolls a 8 and a natural 20. So you take 16 piercing damage.
No.
As you're beaked, and then it tries to slash at you with its talons for 6 more slashing. 22.
So that's a total of 2. Okay.
I stepped up, provoking an opportunity attack from Born again. This is long sword. Just rolling like natural 1 every time. Let me see. He also gets an extra d6, right? From the Mace of Radiant.
Yep. 1d6 rating. Yep.
Ooh. Nice.
That total 11, 18 total. As the rock kind of tries to fly back up in the air, this connects with its beak as it's kind of like coming down on Bolos with its blows. It strikes, and the rock's skull just like cracks, and you see just like tendrils of shadow wrap around the rock and pull it back towards the abyssal portal. As it gets sucked back in, there's another cacophony of demonic screams that echo through all of your ears as it is expelled back to the abyss. Guards, the deckhands get a new loop tied in the rope, and they will attempt to restrain the remaining rock. Unfortunately, even with the slow, just the tumultuousness of the ship on the waters currently is making it difficult for them to rope anything. Silvira, being cured early of her paralysis, manages to continue her concentration on dispelling the portal, and she will on a check. There's another heavy shift as the ship is pulled another 30 feet across the surface, sending another large wave over. Anyone standing, I guess if you're paralyzed, you're automatically knocked prone. Everyone else makes strength saving throws for me. DC 15.
Oh, no.
What a bum takes me today.
Nice natural 20.
He does
Why
not
can I
need
get these on my attacks?
Mavathor, you're knocked prone again, momentarily. For another round, Silvira her attempt at closing the portal is halted. Reloading. Being one human left over here, Lulu flutters over and tries to strike with her tusks. Bit of damage. The little natural weapons. Sylvie, you're up.
Alright, we're gonna keep going with our daggers.
Your first attack, Sylvie, tears through the Shadow Demon, expelling it back into the abyss.
Awesome.
You could move if you like still.
I can do that.
Cutting action dash, since you didn't have to use your offhand.
Okay.
Turns to the slowed rock with his loaned weapon, which he's going to Try really hard not to drop. His first attack hitting. I don't think he's. He got smited 3 times. Cast 1 spell, so he still has some spell slots. He can still smite. So his first attack. 16 total to the Brock, still on the deck on the other side. Second attack. Slud also hits. Just going to burn through his spell slots, because why not? 17 total damage. Second Brock is bloodied now. Ulder, here as foot falls on the deck of the ship behind you, Sylvie, following in close step. No longer be paralyzed after this round of attacks, Stilos. Rock a little.
Yeah.
Brock begins to violently flap its wings and let out these repeated caws, these just blood-curdling screeches. It like sticks its beak up in the air, and just the bulge in its throat, kind of like a bullfrog, expands with every screech. And it's going to try and summon another demon. So, roll a 30 or below. It's gonna get weird.
Oh my God.
There's like from the portal a return of creatures and demonic sounds. The shift sort of shifts again, not doing another like vicious pull towards the portal, but there's like a few brief moments, and the rock sort of just like looking around for some sort of companion to appear, and nothing happens. Dolos, you are no longer paralyzed.
Okay. Now here's my question. Given that I can't do a whole lot of damage and I'm almost dead, the only thing I can really do is kind of heal myself in any way. But here's my question. So I'm almost dead, and I semi-worship a god of death.
Yeah.
Is it plausible to stab myself and down myself in an attempt to get some like help with closing this portal from a divine source? It's not a full sacrifice, 'cause I'm not killing myself, but I will doubt.
Um. Yeah, here's what we'll do.
I
No,
am having
you're-
these both like
You're not entirely sure. You know, in these times in the past where you've been either yourself on the edge of life or death, or cause of somebody else being at the edge of life or death, you've reached out time and again to the Lord of Bones. And Abathor about faith in the gods, and you're certain that, you know, considering the events of your time in Baldur's Gate so far, that the gods are real. Time has gone on, and you've attempted to reach out again and again to the Lord of Bones for help in times of need. You're not, you know, you find yourself still alive despite all of the things that you've been through. You're not sure that's as a result of luck or skill or divine intervention at this point, but you see that Silvira is training to close this abyssal portal, and in these, you know, moments, you find yourself returning to seek the help of the Lord of Bones for power. I want you to roll a D100 for me.
Okay.
I will give you a choice.
Oh no. Okay.
As you are seeing the ship and your friends drag towards the portal, in combat with these demons emerging from the abyss, and you know, in this moment, all you can really think of is your promise to return to Thirstwell. In a desperate moment, you call to the Lord of Bones for help, and feel what you can only assume must be what Avathor has a connection with. His divine presence flows through you. It is cold and knowing. You feel a surge of power. And as you drive your dagger into yourself in offering a sacrifice to the Lord of Bones, feel as though he's reaching out to your call, and it will permanently cost you a level 1 spell slot, but it will close the portal.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Just a level
No
1
hesitation.
Sure. You have your dagger or your weapon into yourself, and feel it pierce you, and you're concentrating on the portal as you're kneeling on the deck of the ship. The sky that's swirling now with these big rings of green and red energy, and the abyssal portal itself just like opening wider and wider the closer the ship comes to it. You can almost see like faces and hands coming out of the darkness as there's, maybe now only 30 feet between the ship and the portal. All of you centering on Dolos feel a ripple of energy kind of like wash out from him. There's this blast of dark energy that pushes away Lulu's orbs that just instantaneously wink out. It blows the ropes off the ship, and you hear like the boat itself creak, and the wood and the boards of the ship against the weight of the divine presence Dolos has conjured here momentarily. It's like the sound of the wood creaking against itself. It feels like the whole ship's gonna just tear to pieces. And then there's this horrible tearing sound, and it's not the ship, but it's the portal itself, which kind of like rips down the center, and the blackness kind of like separates, and beyond it you can see the river continuing, and the swirls in the sky all at once disappear along with the portal. As the portal kind of rips away, it sucks the rock with it back into the abyss, and the waters go calm and still. Some of you are prone on the ship. The deckhands are like trying to throw their rope across the demon. The scouts are like reloading their bolts, and then all in one moment, it's all just gone, and the ship stills and settles on the water, and sail begins to kind of flap once again in the wind, as the captain, like with just this look of shock and surprise on his face, like grabs the wheel as it starts to spin with the wind whipping through the sail, and the portal is gone, and the sky becomes clear again. As the boat settles, you're all kind of just left there with the water still kind of, you hear the water like flowing down through the grates and flowing off the sides of the deck back into the river, and the abyssal portal fully dissipates. Elvira turns back and kind of like looks across the whole ship at the rest of you. Kind of a look of confusion on her own face. Captain kind of rights the ship. Sails fully catch the wind. Elvira, you all kind of like, Elvira like takes a few steps towards the center of the ship as you all kind of converge with each other, drenched in river water. You hear Born kind of curse. He goes, "My fucking sword." And Then Silvira kind of looks at you all and she says, well, it appears that it's true. The Blood Wars are at our doorstep. And that is where we will end the session this week.